Hi there guys, it's Adam Martin here and welcome back to another video here on AMTV Who. Today is sort of a news-based video. Now I know I haven't been necessarily up to date with news. There are several other channels that cover Doctor Who news that are far more frequent and up to date with me, but I wanted to give my 2 cents on things. I wanted to try and get back into this game a little bit, and what I wanted to talk about was the very interesting, seemingly confirmation of this Doctor Who Series 15 to enter production this autumn. So just for a timeline for maybe those who haven't been following it as closely, what we're getting in November are the 60th anniversary specials. They star David Tennant and Catherine Tate. Then, presumably in spring of 2024, we are getting Series 14, which will be the first full series to star Ncuti Gatwa as the 15th Doctor. So with Series 15, we're talking about beyond that, so things are moving rapidly. This article from TV Zone says Ncuti Gatwa is expected to return for his second series, which will begin filming nearly 18 months before it's due to air in spring of 2025. The BBC has not formally confirmed whether Gatwa or Gibson, as in Millie Gibson, will be reprising their roles for Series 15. It seems TV productions now often do this. They film so far in advance. That could be for a whole multitude of reasons. Get stuff in the can, make sure you're all prepared. Maybe it's down to budgets, maybe it's due to location availability, actor availability. There's so many sources that could, point towards that. But hey, the more episodes we get in the can, the more episodes for us to watch in the meantime. I know it says it hasn't formally confirmed whether Gatwa or Gibson will be reprising their roles. You'd think that Ncuti isn't leaving after one season. Of course, we can't say that's never happened. It famously happened with Christopher Eccleston back in 2005. But my hunch is saying that Ncuti is going to stay on for Series 15. Millie Gibson's the more interesting one. Companions in New Who, there are some that go beyond that 1 year, but a lot of New Who companions seem to do the one series stint. Because I think some people forget, for these actors, those who play the Doctor and even the companion, filming on Doctor Who is a massive commitment that takes a lot of time. That we commonly knew that the production cycle for a series for a lot of New Who was around 9 months. We don't know if it's still 9 months, whether that's been increased, scaled back, but that's a lot of time for an actor to dedicate to one job. Speaking as an actor, that is a huge commitment to one job. I'm guessing it's drawn its inspiration from a Twitter account, Doctor Who filming locations, which tends to, as it implies, be down at filming locations. There's other outlets as well that cover this sort of thing, and they tweeted as a set report, just had confirmation on October 2023 start for Series 15 filming. Now, I'm not sure who they've had that confirmation from. I'm presuming maybe it was either one of the actors who were on set or maybe one of the crew even. I don't think it's necessarily a huge spoiler to leak that. What I will say is if you are on Twitter and you keep an eye on some of these accounts, sometimes they do share information that could be considered like massively spoilery, especially since these series aren't being broadcast for a long time yet. Not saying I criticize what they do, each to their own, but it's just to be wary. If you don't want to see key spoilers, then maybe best stay away from outlets like that. Series 14, which will star Gatwa as the Doctor and Millie Gibson as companion Ruby Sunday, will air in spring of 2024 and will comprise of 8 episodes. The last 2 episodes of the series are understood to be a 2-parter. Again, from what I've seen, I don't know how much this has been exactly confirmed. And again, I've seen the argument say, oh, 8 episodes, that's not many at all. I just think the ever-changing landscape of how TV is made, making a 13-episode series in the same lieu that they did back in 2005, it might not just be that feasible anymore. It might be down to the amount of weeks that the BBC is willing to give in their schedules. And a lot of the biggest shows on streaming sites, there are those that break the mold, but you notice a lot of them are 6, 8, 10 episodes long. So I think for Doctor Who to embody that, yes, it may be a bit disappointing because for a lot of fans, we're still getting used to that shorter episode count. I'd hope that they'd all be an hour-long episodes would be great if you ask me. And to have 6 standalones and then 1 2-parter, I think that can work really well. The article says the finale is set to star the recently announced return of Bonnie Langford as Mel Bush. Bonnie first entered the world of Doctor Who in 1986 as the companion to the 6th and 7th Doctors, played by Colin and Sylvester McCoy, before returning in a cameo role in Jodie's final episode as the 13th Doctor. That is true, Mel is back, and we may as well touch on that news. That sort of surprised us all. Bonnie Langford is returning properly as Mel, and yes, she did have that cameo in The Power of the Doctor, Jodie's final episode, in the support group scene, people who'd met the Doctor before. But I'm actually really happy for Bonnie, because in her original run with the 6th and 7th Doctors, let's face it, when you look back at the time, bless her, she was maligned for her character, her performance, and even, going into the 90s and 2000s, and you can deny this, but I remember there was a big swath of fandom, a huge swath of fandom, that would, you know, often cite Mel as like one of the worst, if not the worst companions. And I really did that was unfair. I don't think Bonnie was necessarily served well by where the show was at the time and the writing and what was intended for Mel, but she has more than redeemed herself in her work for Big Finish, the company that produced various audio adventures. Mel has starred alongside the 6th and 7th Doctors in several different audios, and I'm telling you, some of these are absolute bangers for Mel, like from a character perspective, from a performance perspective. They're just absolute powerhouses, and she's been doing it from Big Finish's earliest days with Doctor Who, you know, like from the 2000 onwards pretty much. So I highly recommend, some of them will be flashing on the screen, but I highly recommend that you check out some of her Big Finish work. Interestingly, the picture that revealed her, people are speculating that the background that she stood in is a unit helipad. So, you know, when people are saying, how's Mel going to return now? Maybe she's somehow working for UNIT. Maybe Kate Stewart was true to her word in that scene when she said, oh, I might recruit some of you. Maybe that was true. I mean, Mel is certainly more than capable of doing that. She's a computer programmer after all, which again, in the original show, in the classic series, that sort of got left behind. So I'd like to think if she's returning now, that'll get a lot more credence, that her character will get a lot more than she deserved in her original run on the telly. We've also seen some pictures on set again of Bonnie and Ncuti driving around on like a motorbike or a moped, and like even when they're not filming, like they seem like they're having the time of their lives, really happy. And that's what jobs like Doctor Who should be all about. Yes, it's obviously serious, you're making this behemoth of a show, but it should be fun. It should be a ton of fun to make. Showrunner Russell T Davies said of Bonnie Langford, "What an honour, delight and a hoot to welcome back the character of Melanie after too long away. And this isn't just a cameo, Bonnie is right in the thick of the action, battling monsters and chaos and cliffhangers right at the Doctor's side, just like the old days." So it does say, well, TV Zone's claiming that the finale is set to star Bonnie Langford. The announcement from the BBC themselves, I'd argue, implied, and even from what Russell said there, it implies that she's going to feature in the series even as a whole, you know, implying that she's not just going to be in the finale, she's going to be a mainstay right from the get-go. We've seen these little casting announcements they've done of, you know, various different characters that they say are going to be playing a major role within the series. One key example of that is going to be Lenny Rush, who is starring, well, again, TV Zone says stars in the finale as Morris, and Russell had to say about Lenny, "This is what Doctor Who's all about. Brand new talent from the next generation, and no one's more talented than Lenny. He joins the TARDIS team just in time for the Doctor's greatest nightmare, so hold on tight." So, okay, greatest nightmare, you know, you could imply that is maybe referring to the finale. That is usually what the finales build up to. But again, a major role is what I believe the announcement for Lenny like teased it as, so maybe it could be he's got more of a prominent presence throughout the series. I do think it's been great having these little casting drops or these announcements. I know they're partly done because, you know, like we've seen with Ncuti and Bonnie, they're filming out in the public. Naturally, it's going to be discovered, it's going to be shared, so I get they're partly doing it because of that. But I think drip feeding us with all of this about Series 14 is a really good idea, because from the Power of the Doctor up until the 60th anniversary specials, you know, we have over a year's gap from October 2022 to November 2023. And at the time I'm recording this, that gap is closing. We are only just shy of 4 or 5 months away from those 60th anniversary specials, which is really exciting. But to have these drops, these little constant updates just every now and then, I think are fantastic. And again, it seems like the BBC is fully behind what's going on, because if that's true, if Series 15 is going to start production in literally like 3-4 months time, then Doctor Who's future, for anyone who ever casted doubt like, oh, it's going to be axed, it seems like the show's future is pretty secure, at least, you know, until say 2025, which is reportedly when this is due to air. The timings of this are interesting as well, because when Russell obviously first took the reins, series 1 to 4 were all broadcast in the spring, typically between March and June. And if these dates line up, you know, if Series 14 is the spring of 2024 and Series 15 is the spring of 2025, with Christmas specials, we know Christmas specials have been planned. We're going to get one this year in 2023, and I think we're getting one in 2024 as well. Could it be that Russell is returning to that scheduling time frame? Because that did work well for Doctor Who back between like 2005 to 2010, and then we had all the split seasons and the moving of the calendars and stuff. But honestly, I think if we can stick to that spring time frame, it'll be an interesting experiment because it is nearly 20 years on. But I think having that constant seasonal operation, if you like, might be really good again for Doctor Who. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on some of the news and announcements that have been dropping recently. As I said, there are other YouTubers, other content creators on this platform who cover Doctor Who news like a lot more frequently. They also cover things like leaks and theories and rumors and stuff like that. One channel I'd like to shout out in particular, Tharies, old friend of the AMTV network. You can go and check out his stuff if you want like constant updates and all of that. I'll be dropping in with news videos from time to time. It is partly due to the free time that I have available. You know, I can't be as consistent as some of my peers on that front, but the stuff I do want to talk about, I would like to get round to, you know, at some point. So keep your eyes peeled here on AMTV Who, because hopefully some more news type videos like this will follow in the future. But that is all for this video. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like. It really does help us out. And subscribe to us here at AMTV Who if you are new. We'd really love to have you aboard. And let me know down in the comments, what do you think to all this news? You excited for Mel coming back? Series 15 getting underway? Let me know all of that down in the comments below. In the meantime, I've been Adam Martin from AMTV Who. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time for another trip in the TARDIS.